what I do is good enough. It can be good enough.
Can you see what you want? Like, what does the little girl want? Like, she achieves something. She gets something. She solved the problem. You got it right. What does this little girl need?
I'm trying to think back. And I guess it goes back to that experience of kind of being alone and that aloneness would come from watching my brothers be a threesome. And I was so different to them because I was so cool. And I was 6 years younger. They could do all these amazing things, and I couldn't yet.
Two
So I
big
think it's just that,
pieces, two biggest pieces of information there, right? Of course, it would never be
mm,
as cool as theirs, as amazing as theirs. So a pedestal,
mhm.
then yours never got appreciated. So you never felt belonged, worthy. Yeah. And it's not your dad, it's your brothers.
Mm.
What do you want your brothers to say?
What they did
Um,
say mostly, you know, they were mostly very caring and but it was I mean, it was just yeah, it was just that it's almost like what I would call a natural barrier.
no, that's when we know we went deep enough, farther back.
But then I think of my dream, Jessie, also. Like those repetitive dreams that I used to have. It's interesting because it was always the question. So the questions that came up in the dream with this being that I was with was first of all, so it was first a greeting and a hug, and then are you ready? And then where do you want to go? And then we would go to the place where I chose. And then I don't have a clear image of everything that took place. I just know that we were very busy there. It's just that experience of being very, very busy. And then we would be back flying again. And I would be asked, are you happy with what we did? And I would say, yes. And then it was flying home and a hug and see you next time. So there's that experience of companionship, I would say. And it took me years to figure out that the message in that dream and to take it seriously. And the first therapist that I told it to said to me, oh, flying dreams are about escaping your reality.
Yes.
I think that's a very, very limited view of life. So to answer the question about what does the little girl want, I would say it would be friendship and companionship.
Mhm. That's the focus.
Mm-hmm.
And you look for where it isn't.
Exactly.
And yet the limited view is you're looking for it in this result that it's not there yet.
Mm.
Like someone's still going through their shit.
Mm-hmm.
Shit you don't have to go through. You dealt with it for 9 months. Alone. But not really.
Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't really. So I've still got the expectation. That's what this all says.
Because
Is that my
there's
expectation,
something better. Yes, we know that there is.
but not where you're looking for it?
The craziness of that.
Yeah.
Or where you think you'll find it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just a limitation, and that is what we do.
Mm. We unpack the limitations and we expand.
So you talking, me listening makes life better.
It sure does.
Just seeing how we respond. It's like it's aware of the sensations. And it is so hard to do in the moment, in the heat of the moment.
Mm.
That's like when we're just waking up, it is the quietest.
Mm.
It's like the ego isn't revved up yet.
Mm.
That's what I find beneficial for my morning, like to
Mm.
start it first.
Yeah.
And it's in that silence as you're listening for what shows up. And see, the tendency, we do this already, but the tendency is that we begin to worry, fret. It's like there's a direction that it always takes us, and we're trying to change that direction. So it's like you're trying to fix the track while you're on it.
Mm.
It doesn't work very
Mm.
well.
Mm-mm.
So there, like what we can do in the morning is we can allow those situations to happen. We play them out in our head. We feel how we would respond to it, and then we wonder, like what we wonder how we could be happy with all the ways that it could happen.
Mm.
Yes, it's just like manipulating yourself.
Yeah. Which is an important thing to do. It's very important. But it's interesting because you can manipulate yourself by avoiding the emotions.
Yeah,
You know, you can do the intellectual thing, but it
yeah,
doesn't last very long. It's not foundational enough.
yeah. and that is avoiding feeling. And that's probably the hardest layer to crack.
Mm. And but it's also, it is the feeling, but it's also the story that we tell ourselves, right? That we've got to crack through.
You see one or the other, but you don't see both.
Yes. Yes.
But we live them out, and that's the insanity, is that with companionship. In your specific example, we worked this morning.
Mm.
So whichever one you're putting attention on, looking for, is the one you will find.
Mm.
It's like the structure of structure.
Mm-hmm. Wow. The structure of structure. Oh God, it's in my brain. Can you translate that a bit more?
Structure of structure. Yeah. It just adds so much space, right?
By being aware of the structure of the structure.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. It's so funny that. Okay, so if we had to take that to the anger of the anger, doesn't work. But if you go the structure of the anger,
Mm-hmm.
that works, right?
Yep.
Mm. That's a good one. Oh dear.
So we are super communicating. The dance between intellectual exchanging of information, sensations, and feelings. And then the second one is emotional sharing.
Mm. Mm.
And it's like the iceberg, right? You see just a little bit, and it's massive underneath.
Mm.
That what we see is the voice and intellect, and making making sense of that.
Mm.
And turning off the emotional listening, speaking, communicating. And so we're missing that big piece of us it's hidden under the water, or we keep hidden under the water when it's all the same iceberg.
Yes. Oh my God, that's, yeah.
I'm grateful that I get to preach to you in the morning. That's just what it felt like I was doing.
It didn't feel like that to me. Um, so when you said, it's all the same iceberg, the immediate thing that came to me was, so everything that you need to work on it belongs to you.
Mhm. In that moment,
Mm.
no other time.
Mm-hmm.
In the present. That's the importance of trusting to go with what's there.
Yes. So that thing about expectations, knocking on the wrong door for what you want.
Mm-hmm. Provides
In
you
part,
with more information.
yeah, it does. What I was also going to say was it's 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 just rearranging the the coordinates on the playing field. And to be able to do that thoroughly, if we're allowing our emotions to to facilitate what they do facilitate. And what they facilitate is growth and expansion. So when you take your expectation away from that door, you have to recognize that there is a loss there.
Yes, I'd call it a distraction.
No, can't be a distraction.
Well, but it is a distraction that took your focus off the door.
Mm-mm. I don't think so. It's an acknowledgement. It's a after the digging, it's an acknowledgement. It's not a distraction.
Mm.
It's like that saying that I bring in, Jesse, about where you don't accept limit, you create scarcity. So what you're looking for, you're not going to get at that door. And for the time being, that's the only place that you can get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to be at that door for mm, the next clue.
That I can see that.
We just don't know what it takes to open the door.
Yes, but
It's not ours to open.
that's right. And we're my thing of accepting limit is recognizing, because there are times that you really have to recognize. I mean, you can dig for oil in a place for as long as you want. If it's not there, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So, on that kind of pragmatic example, you can go and dig for
But
oil somewhere
but
else.
you learned something about the place you dug,
Yes, yes,
and you were
absolutely.
wrong. You were wrong in the place you dug. So there was something in the background that wasn't right. That didn't match the door we were looking for.
Yeah.
So we take that to the next place because we think there's a next better place. We take what we learned from that and we'll apply it here. What did we miss? Why did we think that one first place was the best place to drill for oil? And how is this one different, right? Da 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 da. And that's how you find oil.
Mm. Mm.
That's how we find what we want.
Mm.
That's when the door opens. And we want appreciation for that. We want a parade. We want everyone to clap at us.
Or how about just having people celebrate with you that that happened,
Yeah.
and not a huge hoopla, but I think my frustration is that I want the experience of expansion. Oh, that's what I want to celebrate, is the experience of expansion. Like it's not even about me having found something. It's about what was given. Well, what's been made available.
And that is looking forward.
Yes, that's what I thought. And you get, I mean, I have been I get it, from my friends. But it's not going to. It's if I get caught up in the lack of appreciation, then my what I was given in terms of what was made available for us. Because I mean, if I was on my own, I couldn't even pay for that rent, so I couldn't be there. I wouldn't need a 3 bedroom place. It would be nice for me to have an office for sure.
So the minimum would be at least a 2 bedroom.
Yeah.
There you go. So you know the price of that. You looked at it well enough.
Mm, most 2 bedrooms are the same size, the same price as this. That's the irony of it all. Well, it's not the irony, but it is an irony.
It matters in our conversation here.
Okay.
Um, Meaning because you said, well, look, the ego would always try and find the little like points to get off the freeway. Like
That's a
where you can
great way of putting it.
where you can still be right.
Mm. I guess
because
it's
we
a
because we were told
so.
not to lie. So we do it anyway.
Yeah. So just before we go with this, I want to go back to that thing about the distraction. So to circle back to that. Because that's important. To be able to see where there is distraction is very useful, right? So can you remember? Okay, so where did you see the distraction?
Was when we lose sight of what we're going for, what we want, the door, right? We're trying to open the door, trying to open our purpose, our passion. We're working like crazy to create something, right? We're the yours, right, was finding a place, right? And mine is hmm, mine is to grow more food and make more oil,
Mm,
you know.
mm,
And it's like the doors like open, right? And another one of mine, right, is to uh, uh, share the complex simply with others. Like
mm,
more of this. Yeah.
Mm, mm.
In a way. And so it's like these things, right? These doors are like our internal calling that say, come find me.
Mm. Okay, so I understand what happened. Sorry. So you see the door as the as a purpose, and I was seeing the door as representing a person. That you could see it as a territory as well, as a person. Whereas for you, the door is mm, the door, like you said, it's the calling. So how is this different?
Or how are they the same?
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't see distraction at all.
The way I was using distraction was in the sense of getting pulled off the purpose. And it's like, again, it's like all part of opening the door, right? I mean, you were frustrated as hell of not being able to find a house that morning, and then all of a sudden you found a house, and that whole tension is gone,
Mm.
right? I don't want to assume that, because in reality, that tension just shifted to something else, and it's right. It's finding a home, right? This tension is
Oh,
finding a home, and you're naming it.
yeah. Okay, so then that tension goes, then it goes to somewhere else. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I get it. That's
Because
that's yeah, that's really valuable. Thank you.
you
I
only
couldn't.
lose the difference. You only lose the difference.
Yeah,
Like when you uncover it, you only lose the difference. You don't lose the whole thing. That's what
yeah,
we would like to think.
yeah.
And that's what is being sold.
Oh my God. I I feel like you caught me with my hand in the cookie jar. Oh shit. And it's interesting because I had a fleeting thought of that yesterday. It it was there, but I didn't grab it.
Mhm, mhm. That's what made it possible today.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember starting out to be like, oh man, you know what? It takes me I need to see things at least 5 times before I believe it. Because each time I saw it, right, it'd get longer and longer, truer and truer. And it's like, oh, look at that's just my brain making the association.
Mm, mm,
It really is
mm,
of that's safe. So, right, I'm looking for the yeses. And I look for the fears too, like the nope, not, no,
mm,
stay away from that. It's like, oh, interesting. Like, what's that? And so that's part of the awareness. Now I notice it on the first time. maybe the second.
Mm. Mm.
And that doesn't, I mean, that includes, the ones that I miss. Because yes, I do miss them. That's obvious.
Mm.
But it's amazing the ones we catch on to.
Mm.
Yeah, that's those patterns and fear and feelings and tensions. I mean, there's ego. It's really like the ego's instrument to stay safe.
Yes,
So I'm grateful for
yes. So
that.
you stay, yeah. So you stay with what you know.
Hmm.
And but the interesting thing is that it's you you're staying with what you know, but you're the one that built it in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah. Like we had to define it first. We had to define it with something because it was nothing.
Mm. Mm.
And that's why it's so important is that first definition, that first defining is so important because it sets whether it's going to go positive or negative.
Yes, but what I mean also is that what we feel is safe is what
Mhm.
we've
Since our
constructed.
first steps, since our first steps.
Yeah, but our first steps are very much aligned with the body.
Mhm. With the
Whereas our
natural.
yeah, and our later steps are way more aligned with the ego,
Hmm. Hmm. Yep.
which
You got to undo
locks,
those steps.
yes, yeah. So the pattern
Mhm.
that I have that we've spoken about this, this morning now is to hold tension. But there's another part of me that doesn't want to do that anymore because it's too restricting.
And change. Yep. That you just now put good words to. So you're deciphering, you're feeling information.
Yeah.
Number one, that's a relief. So there's a relief in that because the body, the other communicating aspect of you, right, is saying, "Oh, you heard me. You haven't got it right yet, but
Mm.
you heard me."
Oh God, Jesse, but I mean, then I know what my resistance to that is, and I know that it's so stupid as well. I can really I mean, I can feel myself
I know.
literally laughing at myself, but also like it's it's not. That's why I said no. It's not distraction. It's mourning because I have to be able to allow myself to let go, and the letting go is a mourning.
Mhm. Mhm.
Not in every situation, of course, but in this specific educate situation, it is.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So you can't leave without having some sort of celebration.
They know that
And
I don't know that that sits for me though.
That's why I can't use, that's why you can't use my words. They're
Yes,
just
but
to add perspective. They're just for you to try something else on that you couldn't have tried on by yourself.
yeah, yeah, no, no. I mean, I get that.
I know you do.
So, what is it that What is it that I want? I want an honoring, and that's why gratitude is for me. You know,
The beautiful thing of that is you can look back and reflect and bring forth in the moment that's going to show the leading into the next, into the future, into the coming steps.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
appreciation.
yes, yes. It's one thing to be grateful for something. It's a whole nother thing to demonstrate the appreciation. And the way in which, for me, to demonstrate appreciation is to work the gift, make it work. And that is usually by being able to spread it, to share it.
Expand. Your other word was expand.
Yeah, yeah. That's the sharing of it.
Mhm.
I guess there's a part of me that does feel a little bit like, why is this gift horse being looked in the mouth? You know, and complained about.
You mean you've got more layers behind why you can't have it?
No, not why I can't have it.
But I thought if we just solve the one, everything would work out. Is that why we
If
have
we
to show
can't
up
solve,
every morning?
yes,
Yeah. Oh, but oh my God, I don't want to do that.
yeah, yep.
Oh, I'd rather just sleep in. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I mean, it's been a fun experiment to see who's in and out.
Yep. And how some people are in and out, right? Because some people are in even when they're out, and other people are out even when they're in.
Oh man, that could be a whole series talk on it when it by itself.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to come up with names, fake names, of course. I mean, we're saving them for some reason. I just don't know what that is yet. Because I keep getting, yeah, put it out there. Ah, getting really tired of this door not opening.
There you go. Yeah, in that so in that sense, I I understand, or am on the same page in terms of how to open the door. But other times staying at that door is like that saying from Einstein, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is insanity.
Well, and that is our baseline. That is what our patterns are doing right now. We just don't see that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So it's like that is to just not do this is the worst that it's going to get.
Yeah.
And everyone that's not here or hasn't been here in a while has said this is the most important thing that they've ever done.
I know. But that's why, in a way, I'm double questioning myself.
Nothing wrong with that. You celebrate the awareness of it because it's like, oh, I'm catching myself. I was going to say something with some absolute. And I was like, oh, no, there's another possibility here. It's like, oh, boom, exactly. That's the expanding patterns, building them into our thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is an advantage.
But
A superpower.
it goes so fast I can't put words to it.
Exactly. That's why the feelings are so much easier because you don't have to figure out what words they're trying to say.
Yeah.
Because it is not a note from God. What's behind that door? You no idea.
Yeah.
And to be fine opening that door and it's worse than what you imagined.
Yeah. Yeah. Or better than what you imagined.
That's right, because
Right?
it could be the other one too. That's thank you for reminding to bring in. Yes, look at it can be that too.
Yeah. I
Those are the
mean,
best ones. Those are the best ones. So why not look for that, right?
yeah, for me that was the experience of finding the house.
Hmm. Yeah, and they're like pulling teeth for you to admit the miracle. Oh my God. Fucking just looking
Sorry.
for I'm just looking for some fucking validation here, and I'm sure not gonna get any from you, Debbie Downer.
So sorry. Oh God.
A lady fucking dumping out her shit in front of me for 9 months. As I threw my shit out there too. Yeah,
Yeah.
still throwing mine out
Oh
there.
God. No,
You're
well,
still
no.
wiping it and putting the new diaper on for me.
Oi. It's interesting, because I mean, what I'm laughing about now with that is, you know, the immediate answer, which is always the right one, to it is because I didn't, I didn't want to attach too much of the ego to it, right? It's not like what I did, it's what can happen that's important. Not that I did it, but that this can happen for people. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. No, but yes.
Okay, good. So that, that's why you had to drag it out of me. Because I don't want to fall into that trap of, well, this happened for me, so, and if you do this, then it will happen for you too. Because the message should be, this was my experience, and this is how I can describe it. If there's anything in this that resonates for you, please use it. Just like Pascal's guide did, in their group about his course.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always felt that, and I've always spoken to it like that in my, in my work, right?
Yeah, that sets a value, a belief, a judgment. And not in a bad way that we use them here, but in your foundation of who you are. So not to diminish it, not to add so much value to it, but just a gratitude for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're resources that we can use in moments to say, what do I do here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I keep sticking around this door? Is it me or is it you, door?
Yeah. Exactly.
And you're even making this tough for me to deal with.
Who's the you, or what's the you and what's the me?
Truth with a capital T and my ego with a small t.
Ah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good one.
And it's like both, right? It's like both, but sometimes our expectations of which one should come first.
Yes.
So a dreaming child, right, kind of creates a world of how it should be, and in reality, that's the one we get stuck with. It is our blueprint, right? And it's changeable, but most of us don't see that or know how to or trust that it can be done.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
story is so many different other versions of that.
Yeah.
We all know there's something more behind a door that we don't know how to find.
Yeah.
There's your selling model. There's your tagline, right?
Yeah. It's a nice one. Thank you. It's a really nice one. Say that again. So we all know there's something behind the door. We all know there's something behind the door that we can't find. Was it that?
I think so. It's recorded here too. So, but that's got a better spin.
And so then the follow-up of the byline of that would be, just wait, I'm just thinking. When we work together, we'll at least find something of it. Or when we work together, we'll find enough of it for you to be able to find the rest. Right?
I think that's it. It's like showing people how they can do it.
Mm. Mm.
The one thing, the one ingredient that we don't have control over is willingness.
Mm-hmm. That's the impetus, right?
Yep.
Although
Yep.
some people can get the impetus for it, but they don't capture it. The willingness is the capturing of the impetus.
Mhm. And the focusing, directing.
Yes, yes.
It's like, what would be a fundamental question to ask about someone like that?
That's a good thought. Maybe you start with what is it that you want, and you see, and then you observe how they answer and how they stay with you until you get to the base of it. And then if there's a dismissal of the base of it, then you know that's not the client. I would know that's not necessarily the client that I want.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to continue to skim the surface.
Yep.
They don't want to go down to the fundamentals.
Good morning, Alison. Jesse?
Good morning, Heinz, or good afternoon. How are you today?
No, I'm great. I'm here with my son, he just went in to work on his music.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Hi,
Jesse,
what have you
Hans. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So what have you been talking about?
Ooh. Wow, I want to know, how about you? What word explains how you are doing?
Expensive.
Ah! Ah.
You've been with us all morning. See, I told you
No.
to.
Oh, did you hear this? The surprise and the curiosity in that
Yeah.
response.
Tell me. Tell me. I need to know. My ego needs feeding. Don't leave me hanging.
Ah, oh my goodness, we got to come up with a name for this guy.
He's the Muppet Master.
All right, okay,
The
we got
Muppet
Yoda.
Master.
We got Yoda and the Muppet
Back in the day,
Master.
I used to be animal, but I learned. I went to some what do you call it? A speech therapist to learn how to not say. You gotta
Oh,
evolve.
what do we call that again? What was it? What did we call that?
I don't know.
Oh, there was a name for it. It's like a garbage monster, or what was the name of it?
Oh,
He was called
it was
Animal,
the
the
garbage
drummer.
master.
The animal. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the only thing I ever heard him say is Michelle Pfeiffer, Michelle Pfeiffer. Twice she was on the show, and twice he was hunting her. That was his big love, Michelle Pfeiffer. I remember the second time they had him in chains and everything. He came running with 5 chains hanging behind him, one on each arm, one on each leg, and one around the neck. They couldn't hold. Yeah, yeah. I loved the Muppets. And then you got the two eagles sitting up on the porch. Well, you call this show business? Nah. They are pure ego, the two old men up on the porch, what do you call it, on the balcony. They're always right. And my big brother, who's dead, he was the Swedish cook. I remember at our
Oh,
wedding day, yeah, we got home and he was standing and making dinner for me and my wife. It was only the three of us, and when he was standing in the kitchen, he just said, "Busty, busty, duty," and we just fell apart. Ever since then, he's been the Swedish. He was the Swedish cook.
oh.
Yeah. But the garbage monster is from the Fraggles.
Yes, that was the one I was thinking of.
That was a wise old garbage bum. But everybody throws their trash there, so you gotta get wise. You know what everybody's talking about, what they're thinking about, because you know they're trash.
Mm,
It's almost the same as
ain't that?
what Google and Facebook are doing with your information. They know exactly what you want, so they can send the right commercial, just like a garbage monster.
Yeah,
Stealing your information so they can
yeah.
push thing onto you.
I look at it and it's like, that's not what I wanted the golf clubs for.
Mm,
Not even aligned with taking care of my what I need to care about.
mm,
So ingenuine. I mean, that is a place of real help, and they're using machines to learn how to force feed it down us.
Nope. That's not what AI was for.
Nope.
But
That's what happens
but it
when your
depends.
limited, greed takes over. That's the result of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's when they put limitations on AI, because I was watching some what do you call it, animation made by pure AI, just to some really comforting music, and it was really brilliant what that AI could come up with. And I said, this is what AI is really for. It's for medicine, for really, I saw the greatest things. It was called a healing journey. And then I saw a program where AI was used in medicine by AI sampling just a little part of, I think it was in the, what do you call those? You start, those I don't like, you put in your veins, but uh, it could sample by that little part of the vein. It could tell you exactly where in the body there was something wrong with the pressure or something like that. It was insane what the AI could do in 3 minutes that would take 3 weeks for people to put in computers and under screens and everything, and they
Yeah.
still wouldn't know where it was wrong. AI could figure it out by,
Yeah.
that's the way the human body is.
Yeah.
So a
Yeah.
lot of good things are being done with AI also.
Yeah.
It depends
Absolutely.
on who put the
Yes.
limitations on it.
It's always like that. It's not the instrument itself, it's how we use it.
Yep. It's just like you explained to me about money. Money is not good or bad. It depends on
Mm.
what you use it for.
Mm.
And that was a revelation for me in one way.
Money's help, and we use currency to contract with it.
Yeah. It was
It's
great to hear your voices again.
years too, and it's amazing when we see those limits that we've created for ourselves.
Yeah. And the great thing about, they say AI don't have a soul. Well, that means it doesn't have an ego either.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Hans, I had never thought of it like that. That is
Well,
so
yep, there's always ups and downs. You just gotta shift your focus.
exactly. Oh, oh my God.
And then they say, what about Terminator? The AI has an ego. No, it's just logic. Who destroyed the Earth? Human race. What's the best thing to do? Destroy the human race and live on.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
just pure logic.
Oh, Kaylis is going to be so upset that she wasn't here this morning.
Well, at least I saw it was a live recording, so she can always listen to it.
Yes, yes. It's not the same for her, though. She loves being
Nah,
online.
yeah. Where's the fun in watching football if you can participate? It's much more fun running around on the field than it is just sitting there and saying, "Hey, pass the ball."
For some, right? For some, it's
Yep.
more fun to sit around and shout.
Yeah, but that's the greatest football players in the world. They sit home behind the screen telling them everybody what they're doing wrong. The couch players.
I love that about AI, that it doesn't have an ego.
Oh, it's way more enlightened if you think about it. It don't tell you stuff it don't know. It don't just say stuff to be right. Oh my God, they're drilling upstairs.
Oh, shame.
And it sounds a little bit like being at the dentist.
Oh,
Yeah, I
ugh.
really don't like that noise.
Yeah.
That's the worst part about the dentist. If they had a silent drill, well, many more people would actually not be so afraid of it, because it's the noise that makes this pain
Yeah.
hurt 3 times as much.
Quite right about that.
I don't know what it's called when you are a certain kind of eater. There's something you really don't like it, you don't eat it. But half of the food I don't like is because I see it. It has nothing to do with taste or smell or anything. I only taste it after the third time I chew, but already at the first time I already spit it out because it looks strange and it feels strange in my mouth. Then it gotta taste strange. That's the ego.
Hmm.
Nope.
Hmm.
But the good thing about it is every time I learn to eat something new, I used to be almost doubling the amount of different foods I could eat. Now, it's not that way anymore, because as you get to eat more and more, the percentage go down as much as you. So, have you both enjoyed your weekend?
Yes, I have. Thank you.
It's always nice to have a great, relaxing weekend. I remember when I used to work.
Yes. But it still feels, for me, Heinz, weekends still feel different to the week.
Yep. Yeah. But it's still not the same as it used to be, because in Denmark, 30 years ago, on Sunday, nothing, and I mean nothing, was open.
Yes.
Now all the supermarket is open, even car dealerships are open and stuff like. And I can't see. Then it hasn't much to do with a weekend anymore. They have taken the
That's
magic
right.
out of it. Taking the
Yeah.
magic out of the weekend.
It's true. When I was growing up, it was also the same on a Sunday. All that was open was the convenience store, as they say here in North America.
And the bakeries.
Yeah.
You need to get your Sunday cake.
And your Sunday newspaper in South Africa.
Yeah. And I remember Christmas time. It wasn't allowed to make commercial in the newspaper, put up Christmas decoration or anything until the 1st of December.
Yeah.
Now they start after Halloween.
Yep.
It's like we're going just from one holiday to the next.
Yeah. Because you got to sell more.
Yeah. But it's taking the magic out of it.
Mm-hmm. Because it's an overload, right?
Yeah. Too much of a good thing isn't great for anybody.
Exactly.
And the children get so confused. It's much easier when we're at the 1st of December, then you got your Christmas calendar. You can open each day so you can count the days. when we start in the end of October, then you've got all of November. The kids are going, is it Christmas yet? Is it Christmas tomorrow?
Mhm.
I remember we started almost at the 1st of December. Is it Christmas soon? It's almost like the kids in the back of the car. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And now they're forcing it into the home.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the Christmas movies a lot. I can watch them all year long. It's always feel good movies.
Mhm.
Most of them. I don't think they feel so good. The burglars in Home Alone. Nope. It's a lot of pain to them. Christmas. I actually got another word also. Since you went with the P's, I'll go with the E's. Expansive and exploring.
Mm. Those are such important.
Invigorating, but that's not an E, is it?
No, that's
It's
an
an I.
I.
Yeah.
Invigorating. But expansion is invigorating.
Mm.
Invigorating is the feeling.
And empowering is also with I.
No, empowering is
No,
with an E.
no, it's with an EM. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Ooh, I missed the
But
E's. What did we call the E's?
exploring and
Expansive, empowerment, empowering, and exciting.
Mm. And what's that the ingredients for?
For exploring.
All right. Curiosity, maybe. Yeah.
mm, mm. That's a
For
good name.
possibility.
And
Possibilities.
possibilities. Yes, that's one of the best P's. Hey, Hunch.
Yeah.
And expanding and possibilities are cousins, as it were,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, and I lump them into the area called space.
Yeah. Oof. Great one.
Mm.
That's what everybody needs. Some space.
Mm-hmm.
Especially from not enough money. That's the smallest space in the world. Not enough money.
Yeah.
Everything's gotten so expensive.
Mm.
I remember when I took my education, I could be what do you call it, apprentice, and I could still afford to have a car and pay rent and still get something to eat and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you can be an apprentice and you can't even afford your meals almost.
Right.
Mm.
So that means the standards aren't the same today as they were when that was set up.
No.
Mm.
And what has happened is that the pay hasn't risen with the cost of goods, which is a version of corporate greed.
Yeah.
They're not willing to pay their workers anymore for the output they're doing because competitively that doesn't match.
Well, it's
Or
that
we're
they're
going to slice some more profit and put it into our pockets, which has mostly been the latter. Yeah, and so that is for our suffering as a society.
it's that yearly out what they make a year. Well, last year we made 100 million. This year we made 90, so we lost 10 million.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
great
That's really
measure, the great measure is to look at the CEO employment versus the employee numbers.
bad.
Yeah.
They do a ratio that's a ratio, and you see that that's where it goes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Not all of it, but
I mean,
enough of it goes there to compensate for what's returned elsewhere.
Yep, and then we get that 0.2% in taxes more each year. Well, it's gonna run up over 20, 30 years. Then
Yeah, it
0.2
does.
turns into 10%.
Yep.
That there from 100 to a 90 and saying you lose 10 million, that's really bad math. If you earn 90, you haven't lost anything.
Yep. Did I miss what we updated Heinz with? What we were up to today?
Oh, you didn't update with me anything. You just said, "What do you think we've been doing?"
Yeah. Let's see. I think we were demonstrating, like, we're demonstrating communication not only through our words but through our emotions. And so we were like super communicating, like that sounds weird, but practicing, hearing our whole self.
Communication is the answer to most of what we've been talking about, because if the top communicated with the bottom, the top would get way more out of it, because if the bottom has it good, the top will get it better.
Yep, exactly.
It's law of nature. But the more the bottom suffer, at one point it will be just like ice you lay out in the sun. Just at once it will just become water. And that's
Yep.
everything has a breaking point.
Yep.
So I think communication is a very important thing. Isn't that what Central is doing right now also? A course on communication. Yeah. That's also one thing I took notice of. All courses you do online, they seem to just keep on raising their prices.
yeah, I know it's insane.
They're producing more value.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, if it costs more, it's more important.
So
Yeah.
our sleeping together is all of a sudden not $9.99 anymore. It will be
I know, right? And on top of it, I'm going
we
to
gotta
tell
cut down.
you that Like you have to do it for yourself, right? It's yours to create. It's like you've got to put in the work, but you go ahead and pay me to tell you that. And I
So
think
when
you're
I go
right.
to the
Times it's like we should go up too, right? You know, it should like
yeah,
none of this stuff is free, right?
it's like when I go to the supermarket now, all of a sudden there's a do-it-yourself line where you can scan everything yourself. Well, I'm going into a supermarket to get some uh, customer service. The computer don't know how to, you know how to take my money.
Yeah.
People always act friendly and you get a smile. If I always try to get their mood up because then I know the three next will get some great mood from them. Try to be as happy and positive like I'm always. And yesterday I had a deep realization that what I truly am, I'm truly, really not that serious and I like laughing. And that's a healthy thing. That's my core and I'm proud of it.
That's
It's
amazing.
got me through the most darkest places by so what?
Yeah. Well, more than so what?
Yeah,
It's
and then had a laugh at it. It's hard to be mad when you're laughing.
to put to it that it's such a simple way.
Yeah. I feel that a lot get caught in that they're taking everything personal, like it's only happening to them.
Yeah. Well, that's what that's part of what I had to unpack this morning too. Where do I take it personal? And taking it personal means that you are attributing your experience to somebody else's experience.
Yep. Comparing. Bad thing. It's almost like judging, comparing. You're just not judging your others, you're judging yourself when you're comparing.
Yeah.
And then comes those, I want a car like the neighbor has, and I want. Then you get caught in the ego.
Yes.
When people look at my clothes, they say, "Hey, can you afford new clothes?" Yeah, but it's still on my body. Why do I need anything new? Well, there's a little hole. So what? It still keeps me warm. I don't have a problem with it. Do you? Then it has nothing to do with me. When people look, huh? Yeah, I don't really care if my clothes has a little hole or something. I just say, don't you know that's trendy now? Nope, that was 10 years ago. Oh, are these trousers really that old? I just say,
Then they're about ready to come back into style, right?
yep, exactly. Exactly. I'm just waiting for them to get back into style then.
Exactly.
I like to be ahead of the curve.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's just it. You're either ahead or behind it.
Yeah. Well, I'm always between the curves.
Yes.
Mm,
It's crazy how we can move ourselves around on that curve.
yeah.
Sometimes we're the very top, and yes, we're judging other people because we want the top spot.
Mm,
We can compare just because we want to just fit in.
Well, I don't really care about the top or the bottom. I'll just be beside it. Get all out of the, just stand beside it and look at them running around. Ring, ring, ring. They're going their Daytona 500 during their life.
Yep. Yeah, you are choosing more peaceful, I would call that.
Yeah. I'll just be there with the checker flag and controlling everything.
Exactly. Show them where the finish line is, right?
Yep.
Give them a high five on their way through. This is yeah, boom. That's great, huh?
And then people will tell me, well, you never win anything that way. Well, at least I don't lose at the same time. There can only be one winner and 100 losers. I'd rather
That's
be the
right.
neutral and don't any of it.
That's right. Well, that's a perfect spot for you just to is to be the finish line watcher.
Yep.
Never going to get into the race, but I'll sit here and watch the finish line.
Yep.
Was that your mom or your dad?
Hmm?
Would you say that explains your mom or your dad?
Oh, my mom was a little more neutral, but my dad sort of, what do you call it? She sort of towed her along, so she had to follow since they had a store and my dad had to work in the store. My dad is a hard worker,
Hmm.
but he didn't like working for anybody else. He wanted his own.
Yeah.
He couldn't take commands from anybody else because he might not always be right, but he was never wrong. It was his way of telling us that. And then the advice he gave me when I was 10, 11 or something was something I could use when I was 35 to 40.
Mm.
He liked to be ahead of the curve.
Didn't
But
you say that too?
yeah, but then I thought about it later in life, and I realized, well, he couldn't guarantee he would be there when I was 35.
Yes.
Nobody can guarantee, so he might as well just tell me when I was young and understood it. So, but for a kid to get such advice, it wasn't much fun. What the heck do you explain? Do you mean about that? Well, you'll get to know.
Mm.
But I'm happy I had that dad, even though he wasn't the best of dads playing with you or anything, but he made me, what do you call it? He didn't have, I don't think he had that big of expectations in one way, but he said it so I would make greater expectations of myself.
That's pretty amazing, I think.
Yeah. But when you're young, that's not what you think about. You think that's a cold bastard who doesn't know how to love or anything. But I realized
Mm.
when I got older,
Mm.
oh my God, the things he did was just preparing me for what
Mm.
life actually is about when you become 18 and then the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so he did a great job preparing me for life in one way.
Yeah.
That I then was a son who didn't want to listen. Well, that's probably how most children are. What do they know? They're just some old hacks who don't know anything about the world today.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it, is they only know one way and they know there's another way.
Yeah, of course, there's gotta be another way. What's the fun? And then I realized, well, there's all the ways you want. It's just not sure you're gonna reach your goal.
Yeah.
And often it's a mixture of the two ways, right?
Yeah.
Or sometimes.
It's that balance of moving with time.
Mhm.
Then you gotta have some of the old, but you're gonna really figure out what part of the old you can use, and then you gotta figure out what you're gonna create that's in up to the date. Because I realize when I'm talking with my son, I'm so out of date with the kids today. I haven't moved very far from the 90s. I like the 90s. Music was music, and there were beep in the music, so you didn't get all those nasty words like the way kids are talking to the parents today. Oh my God. If we did it that back in my time, I would have a red back. Wow, oh my butt would have a hand that was twice as size as a butt cheek. Because you didn't have that big a butt back then, you. When I go visit people, I hear 9-year-olds and 11-year-olds say, "Fuck you, mom." Oh my God, what? And she just acts like it's normal. No way. I mean, respect is what teaches us self-respect. And it's like everything else we're talking about here, it starts within. But the world wants us to look outside for it. Looking for love, looking for respect, looking for happiness, and everything is told, drink a Coca-Cola and you'll be happy. What? No. You can be happy and then drink a Coca-Cola if you want.
Big difference, right?
Yeah, big difference. One is you're expecting it to give you something. The other is just you're doing it because you like the taste.
That's a really good definition of it.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking about also with that, Heinz, with the word expectation, and that was, although we didn't, I don't think we used the word all that much this morning, but it was implied. So to have an expectation, you can use it as a tool, but if you get locked into it, then you get into trouble.
I found the expectation is like looking at the goal and then you know the goal now, then go back to what do I need to do to get to the goal. So it's sort of like the carrot.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good analogy with the Daytona 500, because when you reach one goal, one lap, well, another goal starts, next lap.
Yes.
And there is no end. So I get to rest up in my chair and just look at them going round and round. No checker flag.
Yeah, that's interesting. There's no marking of a beginning and an ending, or a
Nope.
milestone. Put it that way. Doesn't have to be a total ending, but a milestone at least.
Yeah. In one way, does a river have a beginning and an end? When which one is which? Does a rainbow have a beginning or an end?
Mm-hmm.
Or does it just have two beginnings or two ends? And if you switch perspective, the rainbow will change.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same with life. If you switch perspective, everything will change because you're not looking at it the same way.
Exactly.
I like the one, I can't remember where I heard it. It's not about the outcome, it's how you handle the outcome. I feel over the last year or so, I've just become more and more happy because I found that was my center about a year ago. I didn't want to go around being negative or anything. It didn't serve me.
Mm. Mm. And so you allowed yourself to find something else inside of yourself.
Yeah, but
And
just
that's the
unlocked
happy
and
part.
yeah, unlocked and took everything with a smile. People say, "How can you smile about that?" Well, was I supposed to go around crying about it? How would that?
Yeah.
What would it change? It
Yeah.
wouldn't change anything but my mood.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel way much lighter. Like, whoa, I can do this. I feel happiness opens possibilities.
Yes. Absolutely.
But like everybody else, I still have some back back programming in the old that I don't like being out amongst human because I don't feel the all humans are like you guys. And when over half of them it's just negative, then it sort of interferes with my energy, and it's you gotta learn not to jump in that rabbit hole with them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I come every morning, I think.
Yeah, but
And
it's like
it's not only their, yeah, it's not only their rabbit hole, it's mine as well.
yeah, yeah. It opens the possibility of negativity.
Mm.
But then I realized, well, if I go around with my happiness, well, then I open their possibility for happiness. I'm sort of their permission slip, also like their mind permission slip to be negative. So I do enjoy being out where I see I can inflict some change by just being me.
Mm.
But there's also places where there are people who just don't want to be happy. I feel they just want to be negative in this life. I don't understand why, but it's their life, their choice. Or maybe it's not, they see it as a choice. Maybe it's just the way they feel life is, because nobody is showing them, like,
Yeah.
I'm walking around happy.
Yeah.
Just need to be a catalyst, but I feel it's a little scary in one way.
Mm.
I've never been that great with humans because probably of how school went and my life went with bullying and stuff like that. Then you lose a little bit of trust in humans.
Yes.
And the thing with my children and everything. So I don't see humans as being that great, all of them. That's why I enjoy being here with you guys. It's just open-hearted, great people who love to ask about a great advice. And then if we are 8 there, you get people get 7 advices, 7 different ways of looking at it, and none of us saying that our way is the correct way. It's just a possibility.
Yes. Exactly.
This is probably one of the best things that ever happened to me was joining this group, just being able to open up.
And it was one of the best things that happened to the group was to have you.
Oh, now you're making me blush. I'm not that great with compliments. Never been. But that's what I'm way better at giving than I am at receiving. I'm learning that here to actually receive.
Well, Heinz, remember.
Probably one of my big, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
but remember, so okay, so this is how I got to getting to accept compliments. Was that little phrase that I use about that life happens through me. And so if I'm receiving a compliment, I'm receiving the energy of a vibration that then I get to share.
Yeah, I remember RJ said it a great way, that it's like breathing. You can't just breathe out all the time. You need to breathe in
Yeah.
half of the time. It's the same energy. So it's just as important to receive as it is to give. I never saw it that way, but the
Yeah.
more I work with people like you and RJ and stuff like that, the more I get to see it. Well, it actually helps other people also to be able to give.
Yeah.
I never saw it that way, so it's a balance I need to sort of figure out, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You're expanding into it.
Yep. I'm
And
exploring the possibilities.
yes. And all of that for me shows that you have the willingness. That's a word that Jessie loves, which is so integral to our growth.
Mm.
We need to be willing, right?
Yeah. And I feel receiving actually also makes me more happy now. I always felt I don't need any help. I can do this myself. Where did that lead me into a bunch of trouble? But over the last month or so, my happiness has just kept on rising in one way. It's sort of like, woo,
It's
and
so
naturally,
good.
natural high. It's sort of like, wow, I didn't think I could feel this great. And then The next day I wake up, hey, it's even better. Oh, yesterday I was, or the day before, I was so tired that my son said he felt I was different. Well, I was tired.
Mm.
And when you're tired, you're not that active as I feel I'm an active person when I'm talking with people. It's getting me to shut up. Having a problem with. I just watched Shrek, so I feel I'm a little like Donkey. When Shrek says, "Hey," someone tells him, "Hey, the donkey can talk." Yeah, it's getting him to shut up. That's the problem. It makes me laugh each time I do that. It makes me laugh, and I can just see Eddie. Wow, only a true friend would be that honest. He's just happy about everything, even though his life isn't what you should be happy about, but he's happy. I realized, well, maybe that's a core. Just be happy. Don't worry.
Mm.
Be happy.
I'm going to take that happy into the rest of my day. Thank you so much, Heinz.
Well,
Thank you
you
very
have a
much,
pleasant day.
Jessie. I will. Thank you. Thanks, Jess, very much.
Thank you guys. You guys have a great day. Bye, Heinz.
You both have a blessed day with lots of happiness.
Yes.
Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.